Brodes Media.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Bleacher Report. What a football game, huh? At least when Tanner McKee was in the action. Holy hell, this dude's a stud. Now, we're not surprised. We've seen this for a while. I'm with Ross Tucker, who was saying this on the broadcast a million times. I don't remember the last time he did something stupid. I don't remember the last time he had a bad game. I don't remember the last time I watched him on the field and thought, woof, what a bad effort. The kid just locks in. He trusts his receivers nonstop, throws it in an area, says, go and get it, right? And then when he does have poise, and he's going to his right, and he's reading the field properly when there's some breakdowns happening, he finds Grant Alcantara by the sidelines, and come on, dude, make the catch, make the grab. You know what I mean? So even when there is a throw that doesn't get caught, it's not even his fault. It's on the money. I don't think we have to do one of those stupid debates if it makes sense to trade him for value. No. It's the quarterback factory. You heard Howie Roseman years ago. We mocked him. The truth, he was right. I feel so comfortable and so confident where if Jalen does need to miss a game or two, he's a bit banged up here, you need Tanner McKee to step in, can win a lot of football games with this stud. I've seen the value of the backup quarterback in town probably a billion times. Not doing any stupid arguments about what do we do here. It's very simple. You have an awesome, phenomenal, outstanding number two. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league, Jalen Hurts. You keep it that way, and you try and win a championship. Okay? But there is a way to praise how awesome it is for him to just have a great ball. Put it in space. You even hear at times the way that he's reading the defense and what he's assessing pre-snap. He's been at it for a while, behind the scenes, grinding. And then actually performing and growing whenever he does get an opportunity to step in there and thrive. But he's been at it, working with guys like Jalen in the film room. Imagine the way we know Tanner Key has put his head down and worked his ass off from day one, and then he gets to be in a room learning with Jalen Hurts every single day. Every single camp. You just soak it all in and absorb. Yeah. Awesome. So how about some of the weapons he was throwing to? Johnny Wilson, for all the talk about his size, I never saw it. I thought he had no hands, no ability to do anything. Finally. What's scary about your attributes is you're so much bigger than everybody else. Go high point the football and come down with it. I was impressed. For the first time, I felt I saw what his strength was. Now let's keep building off that. Anaya Smith, he had a pretty good return, which was cool to see, and then the touchdown. But really, I think the most intriguing part outside of Tanner McKee was Darius Cooper. And all the guys that see practice and they're around the team a lot, they constantly all said the same thing. Yeah, Darius Cooper's been that guy. Darius Cooper's been doing this. Now, it's for all of you to see, okay? Now you get to put your glorious eyeballs on the TV screen and see it in real action. Yeah. Busting it. And at times, I'm watching him deep in the game thinking, he looks on a different level than everybody else out there. Now, trust me, I think he's aware of how special this time is for him because this is it. This is his Super Bowl, right? Some of these cats, this is your chance to have an NFL life or not. So he may just want it more than everyone else and better than everyone else, and he let you know. And keep in mind when I say all this, it's in the mindset of it's preseason. But how do you separate yourself? You dominate the other preseason dudes. You are the one that looks like you're in a different level than everyone else. You got to add that cushion away from the pack. It was like snap of the ball, right in McKee's breadbasket, boom. Where's my guy Darius Cooper? I mean, that's what it was like. Bang, bang, bang. In sync, bang. We'll see how that storyline continues. All right, what else do we have for the positive list? The tush push. We got after it with the tush push and set the tone. Yo, Green Bay, go take those tears and shove it up your rear end, you loser-ass franchise. Trying to take away something that we can do with anybody. Now, was it as pretty as it was with Jalen? No. But we don't give a damn that these games don't count yet. We want it known. We want to make a loud noise. Go scratch. Okay? Hey, here's the double bird. We're even going to do it with our backups if we can. Screw you. Love that. Trying to make up a bunch of nonsense about how it's so dangerous to all these players. Get the hell out of here. You just stink and can't run it as efficiently as we can. And it don't matter what linemen are in there. It doesn't matter if we have the 7-foot monster. Tanner McKee's not 7 foot, but the 6-foot tall body frame guy in there. Good luck. So punch that in. Thank you very much. Tyler Steen got some action at right guard. Seems like it's his job to lose. And he opened up a nice lane for Will Shipley to have a good burst and a good run early in the game. I thought Will Shipley was fun. I thought A.J. Dillon was fun. You know, when a broadcast zooms in on some dude's quads and talks about his beefy muscles as long as they did, that's only football. And it is so damn true that I'm going, wow. That is awesome. Or, wow, that's sick. Wow, that's outstanding. I'm watching some dude's thighs. Like, what type of sickos are we? But pound the rock, baby. I think Will Shipley, A.J. Dillon, when Saquon probably doesn't get the same workload as last year, but you got a good punch right behind Saquon. I like the story of A.J. Dillon, the hunger and determination at this phase of his career, with a chance to win. And then Will Shipley, we've been talking about him since he's been drafted, of having that little edge to his game. Can't wait to continue to watch that develop. But first, I got to tell you about my great friends, Emilio Cigars. Old school roots, new school attitude. I'm thinking about right now, later on tonight, kids go to sleep, wife goes to sleep, I'm hanging out with the dogs, and I go out back, I escape, and I light one of these puppies up. Made at the Fábrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. This is the only cigar to smoke. Emilio Cigars. I'm looking right here on my little corner piece that I have in my studio. I got a 4-pack for a foursome to bring out with my buddies when I go golfing. I got boxes and boxes of Emilios. Literally anywhere I go now, I pass these out to my family. I say, take a little how do you do from this. Take a nice fat puff from this. There's nothing that's going to taste better. There is nothing that is going to hit your lips that is better than an Emilio cigar. And you must join me by clicking the link down below in the description, utilizing promo code BRODES10 at checkout for 10% off. Do not be a fool. So whether you're going to a family function, whether you just want to hang out with yourself late at night, whether you want to have a nice morning cigar, however you want to get it done, the beach, you name it, down the shore, those always taste outstanding too. During a Phillies game, oh, are you kidding me? Make sure you're smoking an Emilio cigar. Join the family today. Kevin Patullo. Listen, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little surprised by the lack of talk with Kevin Patullo outside of here's another offensive coordinator, but credit to Jalen Hurts because we're not even as worried and as concerned as most teams would be when you have a new influence and when you have a new voice, but that's because he's had someone next to him new basically every single damn year of his career for the last 8 years of his career outside of the Shane Steichen. So, don't take it for granted, but this is the time of the year you want to see, does it look like it's in rhythm? Does it look like they walk up to the line of scrimmage and they know exactly what they are doing? There weren't any mishaps. There weren't any struggles. There weren't any painful moments, a false start, a brutal snap, just a gross sequence where you go, that can't happen. That's not a polished team. This is the time where that happens. This is the time where you do make those mistakes because it's early. You got second and third stringers out there. Didn't happen. So credit to the man in charge and the new face of this offense and the guy with the headset on. How many times have we heard Nick Sirianni, knowing that Kevin Patullo is an extension of him, looking at you going, we are going to be detailed. We are going to focus on our fundamentals. And a lot of coaches say it, but there's a difference when you effectively do it every single day. They do. It's a well-coached team. And these aren't the ones. Now, Dotson was out there, and obviously he's going to be playing a lot. He looked good. Hopefully he can build right off of what happened in the Super Bowl, and now that you're more comfortable with who you're surrounded by, you know your role a little bit more. Obviously, he was never going to be as impactful as an A.J. Brown and a Devontae Smith, but, you get traded late before the season begins, but it was later in sort of the season getting going underway, and it's hard to find what you're familiar with, and sometimes, unfortunately, it takes someone a little longer to get there. For Dotson, it seemed like it did, but you're starting to see consistent signs of him feeling out exactly what he's supposed to be doing in this offense. Defensively, Patrick Johnson, that was a sick interception, what he did at the line of scrimmage. And with the defensive line, Gabe Hall and Ty Robinson, the spark was there. So Ty Robinson gets the sack. They clearly like a lot of the youth that they have on their defensive line to rotate around. That's why they make the trade with Vegas to move off of Thomas Booker, who I like. But now on to the negative list and why they had to make the move with Las Vegas. Woof! Ringo. I don't want to hear for a damn second that, it's going to be difficult for him. He has to cover Jamar Chase. Welcome to being a starting corner in the NFL, dude. If you want to be a starting caliber corner with a wide open slot on this football field, and now they're going to have to use Q differently, and they're planning to use Q differently because they know they need it. You will have to dance around the field. You will have to move all around because we don't have the luxury of Darius Slay. And a lot of you sickos that didn't see why Darius Slay was so damn important last year, you're going to find out real quick how much he mattered, how much he did his job, how much he was stellar. Unless something changes, or unless your new acquisition is a serious weapon. But Ringo, I don't care that you're facing Jamar Chase, and I don't care if down the road in the regular season, Q would be the one to be like Gorilla Glue and sticky glue and stick to the other team's best receivers. That was a mental lapse that was horrible and just terrible technique. You know how important these snaps are. You know how important this battle is. To me, that looked like someone who was mentally fragile about this competition because that's as blatantly disgusting as humanly possible. That's not just, hey, you got beat. Jamar Chase is amazing. It was good coverage, but you tip your cap because his toe tapping ability is otherworldly, and somehow he found a way to keep both feet in bounds, whether they didn't. I don't know. I couldn't tell with the camera view. It looked like maybe he did squeak it in. I'd imagine the Eagles would have threw the flag if they thought it was closer, just to get the taste of maybe what it was like here in a game where it doesn't matter if you're wrong. But what was that? And Adoree Jackson didn't do much better either. There was one play that I was like, oh, okay, Adoree Jackson, nice. It was like second and short. He ended up making a nice tackle to stop the receiver short of the distance, and then Campbell ended up having a penalty after that, which then kind of made that not that important. But other than that, he was getting picked on. Just getting picked on. Outside corner. Uh-oh. Wake up. There's a lot of work to do that. I think Howie Roseman's on the phone already. Even with Benny. I don't know. I'm very disappointed in Ringo because there's so much intriguing about his size, right? His length and what he can be in theory. And what better time than right now? You've soaked in a lot of information being in the NovaCare complex and being on the sidelines like guys with Darius Slay, with guys like them, and with guys like Quinyon Mitchell, and with Christian Parker, who the NFL world seems to be super excited about as a coach, and he's probably going to move up the ranks rather quickly. So you have all that substance around you, and here you go. The lights are shining bright, which is completely air quotes. It's a preseason game where 600 people were in the damn stands, and you look that uncomfortable and you look that awkward. Come on, man. You fell asleep. It's impossible to fall asleep to know the magnitude of this for you. Can't have it happen. Just can't. Sidney Brown, he just plays too reckless. He's never going to stay healthy. That attempt of a tackle where he's just lowering his whole body, and his shoulders getting popped, and he's getting hit hard. I heard the contact, and during the slow-mo, I shouldn't be going, oh, man, what the hell are you doing? There's no way Sidney Brown ever makes it. And now you're dealing with the Makuba injury, too, who is being sidelined and not getting the reps that he needs, and he desperately needs them as a young pup. Now we have question at safety, which we have had questions at safety. That is one of the highlighted competitions throughout camp, outside corner, safety. But this is where now Cooper DeJean shows off his versatility, and where Vic Fangio can get cute and creative with a lot of the personnel who can do many different things. There's a reason why Howie Roseman is targeting these style of players. Now, everyone is different at it, but what Jahad Campbell can be, he can help with the pass rush. He can play off-ball linebacker. What Cooper DeJean could be in the secondary. He could play safety. He could play in the slot, obviously. If you need help on outside, there is definitely a lane for him to do that too. That's where those attributes for a lot of these athletes that he's searching for in the draft, that's why you look for that, because it can help shore up some holes. And, of course, that means there's going to be other areas of your team. Like, for example, if you do have to move DeJean, then you have to find the nickel. But sometimes you have the luxury of maybe having that slot corner on your roster already, but you don't have the flexibility with outside corner with your depth chart or safety with your depth chart. And that's when Vic Fangio earns his money. But I'm sure Vic Fangio is going to be frustrated with the inability to catch the ball when it hits you square in the chest and hands. They're going to be using those machines. All right, all the offensive players and all the wide receivers are going to be sitting there waiting, rolling their eyes with their arms folded, because Vic Fangio is going to have Eli Ricks, who dropped the pick six first in line. Jahad Campbell with the tip drill. Gotta have it. He's trying to prove himself. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. had one as well that slipped right through his hands. Yo, if I'm Vic Fangio, I'm going to be very aggravated with that. And I'm sure he was licking his chops prior to this game going, knowing that the Cincinnati Bengals were desperate to get something out of this experience. They've been starting out so slow under Zach Taylor. They dig themselves in such a hole that by the time the end of the season is here and you figured it out and kicked it into gear, there's so much pressure with 1 or 2 regular season games to go. You can't survive that way. So I respect their attempt to go after it differently and try something, and we'll see if it pans out for them. I know that Joe Giglio here on WIP, the local sports talk station, he was bringing up that he wanted to see maybe Jalen Hurts with the new coordinator get some reps, and I guess there were people in this city that despise that way of thinking because the risk isn't worth the reward. And while I agree, I prefer not putting them into the fire. It's not as if it's the most embarrassing thing ever, knowing that the offense needs to. Now, I wouldn't do it, but just because someone likes the idea of it, it's not crazy to think Jalen Hurts, Kevin Patullo, the offense, who did start out slow last season, to get a quarter a play or something. Andy Reid, Tom Brady. There are things that have shown, or there are examples, that we have learned the best in the game right now. Sometimes they've done it. And not just right now, but with Tom Brady being in his prime and all that stuff. I know it was a different era, but just Tom Brady at the later stages of his career. Bear with me there. My brain went off the tracks, but I think you understand my point. It's not the craziest concept. Whether you would do it or not doesn't make it irrational. It's just you value it or not, and this team did start out slow. I wouldn't do it, but I don't think it's the craziest thought in the world. For example, if they were to do it, if the Eagles were to do it, I wouldn't have cried about it. I wouldn't have been angry about it. If he had a series or two, I wouldn't say they're incompetent as a franchise. Now, I'm not surprised or shocked that they took this route, knowing the Nick Sirianni experience, but it is fascinating to know when you're facing a team that is so open about how important these snaps are for the feel good of their offense and the importance of them trying to establish themselves as a serious contender. That's the importance of these snaps for these players, for that franchise. Is we have to set the tone from September. We are a team you don't want to mess with, and we are great, and we are elite, and we can win the Super Bowl. So think about the intensity of their approach. If the Eagles wanted to match that in their own way of, we want to set ourselves up for success in September. We don't want it to be 2-2 and then have to have a meeting about how we change things. We want to get that out of the way here in camp, and then boom. But maybe they don't care the same way, and that's okay if they don't, as long as they go on their big win streaks that they have done over the last 3 years with Jalen, then I can live with their view on it. I'm just saying, I understand the other side. But I'm sure Vic Fangio was licking his chops thinking about just this opportunity. I don't know if he's thrilled with the result, to be fair, because, drop too many INTs. I don't think they got that much good pass rush, really. I mentioned the Gabe Hall and Ty Robinson thing, but the Ringo and Adoree Jackson, both of them failed. 2 thumbs down. And another thing here, this is more special teams, though, is Jake Elliott with the super bad miss. Now, they were lined up, the Bengals, that is, in the neutral zone, and that kind of gave the Eagles another opportunity there. But it was garbage, and it was really bad. Not even close type of kick. And knowing the issues that he had all throughout the regular season, it's not the best to remind us that that's who you were. Now, he was great in the playoffs, and he made the kicks that he needed to. And there's something to be said about being battle-tested and already doing it multiple different times, and everything that stemmed back to that first Super Bowl against the Giants and how clutch that was. I'm willing to give him a longer leash, because now there's 2 years of Super Bowl caliber type of kicking. And when you are bad forever last year, it's easy to just keep your head in a bad spot, and you're not mentally checked in, and you feel bad for yourself, and you feel sorry, and then you can't come up clutch in the playoffs. But if he goes through 4, 5, 6, 7 games where I complain and he's missing a lot of his field goals, I think the playoffs could come around. He can make his kicks again, because he already did do that. All right, so that's where I'm at with my list of positives and negatives from this first preseason game and some of my thoughts about how the Eagles have attacked. I must say, on my way out here, the fact that I was invested in this game and having a lot of fun through the first half, but I was invested in this game until about 4 minutes left in the third, that is so much longer than anything that I thought I would have been. Now, I would have watched it, but there's a difference between being thoroughly excited and interested in preseason game one and having it on and just watching and unfortunately wanting the clock to move faster. You know what I mean? Tanner McKee, Anaya Smith, Darius Cooper, Johnny Wilson, they were actually making the game so much fun because they were just dominating. They were kicking ass. They were making plays. And this is our third, fourth, second string type of pieces. It just puts it in perspective when you're talking about Johnny Wilson, when you're talking about Smith, a later draft pick, right? When you're talking about Darius Cooper, the way that they were playing out there, you go, yeah, and think about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You know what I mean? These guys can't touch their jock straps, but they're still making plays out there, and this is the competition that's at the NovaCare complex. These teams that are not the gold standard right now, and they're trying to figure out how to copy the Eagles and be what Howie Roseman is and all that, they would drool watching these guys play in camp. They would drool with these men in practice if this was their depth chart. I think some of these guys you can throw out there, and not that they win a lot of football games against other teams, but I'm saying I think you'd be very surprised on what a team of these second teamers could do. Amazing. Just flat out amazing. Before I let you out of here, here's a conversation for today. Make sure your lawn looks gorgeous. Don't be an idiot. Don't be like me, all right? Because I didn't pay attention to my lawn a lick. Then I sat down with the experts. Then I sat down with the best people in the industry. That is, of course, Green Lawn Fertilizing. Experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, best in the market, so knowledgeable, it's not even funny, and they've created their own custom blend that literally helps your lawn recover when it needs to. And trust me, my lawn needed to, and it's so awesome to see the progress after all the treatments. Hey, Brodes, this is why we're doing this for treatment 1. Hey, Brodes, this is why we're doing this for treatment 2. Hey, Brodes, this is why we're doing this for treatment 3. Really teaching me the way that my lawn is going to progress after each time they stop by. And sometimes they're just like, hey, Brodes, we're going to, if you're around and you don't mind, we're going to come over in about 15, 20 minutes and walk around your lawn just to make sure it's taking the proper, path that it should, and we're just keeping an eye on things for you. Is that okay? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Hey, bro, if we want to send you a care package because your daughter was just born, and we want to show you we love you. We want to show you that we're family. We want to show you that this is more than just a lawn service, okay? This is a real community. Wow. You're awesome. Thank you so much. These are the type of people that we're talking about over at Green Lawn Fertilizing. The best experience I've ever had with a lawn company, and you need to join me. Right now, they're giving away 50% off your first 2 treatments. That's right, 50% off your first 2 treatments by clicking the link down below in the description, which will take you to their website through my link, Brodes. It'll tell them that I sent you, and you need to get started today because it is a personality change for your house. When it starts to get green, when it starts to get luscious, when it starts to get beautiful, pretty, gorgeous, and you clearly stand out more than the rest in your neighborhood, it's damn, look at that guy's lawn. Damn, look at that. I never paid attention to that until I became a homeowner. Now when I drive by houses, I literally think about it 24/7. And I said, I need that to be my home. And you need it to be yours as well. Make sure you join the Green Lawn Fertilizing family today. With that being said, thank you guys all so much for hanging out. I'll talk to you guys all on the next one.